beautiful Friday morning, and you are on to Issues and Society, a program that discusses trending issues as it affects our day-to-day living. I am Zainab Ubitin. On today's episode, we shall continue our discussions on Nigerians' expectations from the incoming government, His Excellency, the President-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And still very much on the program is the Honorable Minister of State for FCT, Honorable Dr. Ramatu Tijjani. Aliyu, join us again after the break.
With an ever-evolving society, there are everyday issues in the marketplace, in government, in our social lives, even in our homes. Issues and Society brings these happenings to you. Join us on this station. For sponsorship and advert placement, please call 081-100-00712, or better still, follow us on our social media handles.
Now the elections have come and they've gone. Next is governance. 4 years from now, what should Nigerians be expecting from this administration or President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed?
Well, Nigerians will see improved governance. President Muhammadu Buhari had laid a very solid foundation for the successor to build upon. Hence, the citizens can expect new administration to provide better governance and to address frontally key challenges such as unemployment, security or insecurity, etc. Actions to be improved or to improve the quality of life of the citizens is also expected. And this government must ensure, or I expect them to ensure, and I know they will ensure, public accountability, that public resources are used effectively and efficiently. And there will also be a future of this administration, definitely. And we also expect to see economic development and the internally generated revenue of Lagos State is a case study. Justice have been done there. I read some papers, some saying that after him had been so many governors. Well, the egghead, I will say, or the think tank put in place policies. And policies, if implemented well, make governance. And there was commitment to duty and sincerity of purpose on his part, even as he remained outside government, but he remained ever the cautioning voice and the compass towards the development of Lagos. So we must give it to him. And we expect this administration definitely to reduce, to promote growth, reduce unemployment, and create opportunities for enterprise and entrepreneurship. And that will go a long way to catapult the growth and development of the youth and women. Importantly, improving public services such as healthcare delivery system, education, and infrastructure is what we expect to see, because we expect consolidation on that which, whose foundation has been laid.
You came in on board and you have redefined governance as it concerns FCT. You want to tell us those unique attributes that you brought on board that has transformed how governance and government is run here in FCT.
Wow, prospect. Interestingly, I will tell you that you can only act within the power that is availed you. FCT is one very peculiar space of governance called a ministry, but not really a ministry. It's a characteristic of a state that remains a quasi-state. What do I mean by this? The Governor General of the Federal Capital Territory itself is the president. So you must act within that which he desires. So it calls for the political will and push that will propel the zeal in the ministers to act accordingly. What am I saying? It might interest you to know that the FCT is still governed by the decree of 1976 establishment. We expect to see an upgrade in those to be able to fruitfully achieve the mission and the vision of the founding fathers. 7 years of establishment. FCT is still on the development of the 250 square kilometer of land earmarked out of the 8,000 square kilometer of land of the Federal Capital Territory. If you know what it means, that means the Bola Ahmed Tinubu that I know is meeting a construction site that he can turn into the Silicon Valley of Africa. No doubt about that. With 7,750 square kilometers to play with and unlock the potentials while engaging the youths and women, building their capacities and transferring skills. We need to get so many issues of unemployment and creating wide opportunity of gainful employment for women and youths alike, while unlocking the potentials, strengthening the relationship with the border states of the Federal Capital Territory by ensuring the establishment of connecting road network and securing the cities around, by extension, securing the Federal Capital Territory administration itself. So the issues of insecurity must be laid to rest. Addressing the issue of transport and transport system, both intra and extra transport system, connecting the cities within the Federal Capital Territory and then the neighboring towns, and then FCT to other states, and then looking at the waste management system, the traffic management system, quality healthcare delivery system, then looking at rights and privileges of citizens and indigents alike. And then you must look clearly again into provision of new infrastructures, broadening the scope and horizon, upgrading the quality of the existing ones, total rehabilitation, to meet up the qualities of 23rd century, resilient city requirements. What do I mean by this? Provision of quality housing, also for all. Before now, the original master plan has it that the low-income earners will be within the city. That is why you are seeing the high rises in the area 1, 2, and 3. But it's long been distorted and changed. We are now, the high-income earners are within the city, and the low-income who are more in number are outside. So commuting is becoming troublesome. But also with high and quality traffic management system too, you will have all this become a thing of the past. Provision of traffic light and security, CCTV cameras linked to, plate number registration of all residents and commuters will clearly enable the city to implement or enforce the policies. For instance, when you just beat the traffic, you hear an alert, bam, and the fine is taken. If you do it 10 times, you'll be penalized 10 times. They will be asking me, I know, what happened to the traffic lights put in place even before now? A lot was put in place, but that is what I'm trying to tell you, implementation on erring members. If I know, for instance, that if I'm caught wanting or found wanting, stealing the traffic light or vandalizing it, the public facility, the policy will not be able to enforce the law guiding it, or the law is too weak even when enforced. that means I will carry it out because the fine is insignificant. So there is also a deliberate action on the side of the erring members of the community. But when you know that you'll be well charged and disciplined, then you sit up and know that the penalty that comes with it is not easy. Then you will not commit the crime, or you think twice before committing that crime. Secondly, we must also look into, that is why I said a concerted effort by the president must be made. Who becomes in charge of what? The federal government, the Federal Capital Territory being a city of the federal government, and the Governor General being the president, is also over, the activities is also overseen or overlooked into by all the agencies that are federal, charactered. That means the NIA, the DSS, the all are. So who takes charge of the security cameras? Is it the NIA? Is it the DSS? Is it the Nigerian police? Who, or is it the FCT administration? That also will go a long way in defining who does what and who is to be held responsible where this and that does not work. But as we speak, there is also in place the joint task force of the security network of both the federal government and the FCT administration that oversee the security. You can see recently you've had reduced crime rates.
During the lockdown period, the pandemic, we were privileged to go around, and surprising that you were one person who was very active, even at the peak of sit at home, to the point that, you had Nasani for, ventilators and all that. Please, can you tell me, what do I want to use the word, what gives you such daring spirits, to move around when I know you're not a health worker?
First, I went for an official assignment in Saudi Arabia to look, for the accommodations and so on of the Muslim Brigade. And then we are the first that the lockdown caught up with there. And the Arabs started winding down. They closed their borders with us, moving. So I quickly picked interest and bought all the masks from there because I saw everyone using and being forced to use, and I started using from there. But when I returned to Nigeria and I was laughed at, because I had the nose mask and so on, and they were laughing that there wasn't COVID in Nigeria. I laughed. But on a very serious note, we were the first set of people that eventually became exposed to the COVID-19. And how did that happen? On a fateful day when my governor, Yaya Bello, lost his mother, and then I received a call from the villa, precisely from the leadership of staff. Normally it is tradition that when the president is going to any state, the minister from that state follows or goes as an advanced team to get, whatever it is. And I was called upon and I reported early in the morning, and I had, Kogi, as you know, was one of the states that said they didn't even believe in the existence of the COVID. So we boarded the aircraft from Abuja, and we were with the late Abakari, Lai Mohammed, Gabashiwa, and so on, and we were on board. Well, in the car, I experienced the first second sneezes he had, and I don't know for whatever reason, because I saw a few of those in Saudi Arabia. And I haven't realized he just returned from Germany or so. We were using the Lufthansa. I said, you shouldn't have come. You should have rested, Baba. And also in the reflex action in his very usual mood. Very upright leader we have there, and we lost. It was a great loss to Nigeria. It is, Mother. Said, do you believe in COVID? I said, I do, sir, because I saw them in Saudi Arabia. So you think I have COVID? I said, I'm sorry, sir, if I must be frank, but I know so. But have you run a test since you returned? He said, yes, yeah. And I said, okay. And he sneezed again, but in his courtesy, he brought sanitizer and the wipe. And he gave me, he said, peek from inside, don't touch it because you believe in the COVID. But I have cold. I said, I know, the fluctuating weather definitely yes. What am I saying? We traveled like that in the vehicle we already from Kogi, from the Obajana airport to Kenya and back. And also in the aircraft. So as we boarded, I called my driver and my PA. And she opened my door and wear the masks. The four of them must come with a mask, with the order, and take some for me. They were all laughing at me. They came without it. I said, no, you must wear the mask. And give me the mask. And I wore the mask. I was as serious as that, so not because I don't believe in it. And I got my mother's residence evacuated. She went into my house. It was empty for me to just straight go into the quarantine. Because I read a lot about it as well. And immediately I called the doctor. Incidentally, I will tell you, I read a film they called COVID-19 Messenger. And there, the scientist was talking about administering the chloroquine for the treatment of the COVID. And all, the zinc and so on, and he fell. And when he collapsed, and the medical troop quickly took the thing and tried on him, and he was okay. Whatever it is, I called the family doctor and I said, I have malaria. I have malaria. And he said, how do you know? We'll run a test. I said, okay, run a test, but I have malaria. But he saw I didn't have anything and nothing was wrong with me anyway. But incidentally for me, when the test came out, as usual of every Nigerian, if you hardly will you check all of us today, you must find malaria parasites. They said, oh, how do you know your test was positive to malaria? I said, okay, I would like this malaria to be treated with chloroquine. He said, but chloroquine is banned. But I said, it's been resistant for quite some time, so I would like chloroquine treatment. Okay, as you think. But that takes us to it. Every one of my family was happy to see me, but I refused to see them. I only called them, and my husband came down from Lagos, and I still refused to open the house. I said, I am under quarantine until 7 days. I knew that if I had been infected, between day 1 to 4 to 7 must be the manifestation. Fortunately, for me, if not, they would have cracked and opened my door. They thought something was wrong with me. We saw the announcement on TV that the late chief of staff had COVID-19 and all those who encountered him would be subjected to the NCDC test. And I said, here we go. And there and then, the ministers I had encountered, because we went for the Federal Executive Council, so all of us were exposed almost, except those that didn't attend, including Mr. President himself and the VP. It was a very tense period of my life. I gave up because that time even was no treatment for COVID. Nothing was made clear. So everyone, it was like a death sentence. And knelt down and did my sujood and said, God Almighty, Ya Allah, here I am before you and I have little children. I have my family to take care of, oh Lord. Oh Ya Allah, if you help me out of this, and indeed you are God, that I'm not infected, oh God, I will serve you more, and I will defy all costs to go out there to ensure that I educate all the ignorant people that COVID-19 is real and that I encountered it. And I will let them know that it's not a death sentence. For those who encounter that a lot could be done. I promised so many things in my tears. So that takes you to how I frontally confronted the COVID challenges. 3 days later, the result came out. Those 3 days were like just 24 hours because my supporters were texting in the Facebook calling me to see my result of the COVID test. I was also disturbing Boss Mustafa, even though I was frozen to the bone marrow. It was like a chopping board. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink. And we kept hearing the feedback and how the late Abba was doing. With all empathy to the family, the wife was down too. I was crying incessantly while supporters joined me in prayer, my family. And when my result was negative, I still subjected myself to a second test so that I don't endanger my family and the citizen. Because I couldn't believe it. That we flew together, we sat together, we went and we sat together, we returned from Kogi. Come on. The second test still came negative. And straight I started calling my media team. Some ran away and turned off their phone, of course. I know that. I got boots, I got everything, and here we go. We were all there in every nook and cranny to ensure that the slum areas, the wet areas of the market were fumigated using all systems. Some even laughed at me because I was sure of confronting it frontally that even the details I didn't want to leave. They saw me with this painter sprayer, that tiny one. My tiny hands, how would I be able to hold the firefighting hose? So I went to those ones too and summoned all of them. And I was demonstrating to the sprayers we had for chemicals in the agro department. So we will put the disinfectants in it. And then it took us to the corners. Instead of doing only the air, the tables and the areas that will be touched. So every day that will be market day, immediately daily, we work till morning. Sanitizing, clearing, and fumigating the environment. Those nozzles are used to touch every corner because we didn't even know. But to be forewarned is to be forearmed. And that was how FCT actually conquered the COVID. And I'll tell you clearly again an experience I'll never forget during that time. There was a lockdown and we survived anyway. Necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. During the lockdown, I put together all the youth corpers, the youth corps members. They were able to produce masks in conjunction with Naseni. Some of them were able to do, ventilators that we were seeking after. The most sought after, facility, equipment during the COVID, because it comes with the breathlessness, so the ventilator was said to be required. Most of them didn't even have a need to be used anyway, but it was so costly to bring it in. So we found a way of inventing so many things. Sanitizers, masks were produced by the copper, that's the NYC department. That goes a long way to say, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, will lock up this country like China did, he will experience industrial boom. Lot of inventions will come. Lot of intellect, untapped capacities will be realized. Innovations will come to bear. Not necessarily locking it up economically, no. But it could also create a forum, platform where youths will be challenged, women will be challenged, citizens will be challenged to come up with their best ideas to frontally challenge the issue of joblessness by creating jobs.
On the last note, Honorable Minister, the person of Dr. Ramatu Tijjani Aliyu, can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
I've always said, I'm a simple woman. I'm a Nigerian, born into the royal family of Sidi Ali Mama from Buddha, a tribe of Kakanda, on June 12, 1970. And I am a town planner by profession, but I am a politician by vocation. I've always said it that I am an administrator who is concerned also about security of life and property, who is an administrator that will not care, who is a town planner that will not be concerned about the relationship of the tribe. So that led me to be and becoming a chartered town planner in my first degree. My master's in public administration led me to the humanity angle of existence. And then my PhD is in security and strategic studies. That also enables me to take a broader view into what security means. How secured can the citizens be? Also, we look into it and realize that security does not mean, as I used to think before, of putting burglary proofs, high fences, and locking your doors and electric fences. And this composition of three keeps redefining my personality. But I am an ordinary Nigerian woman who wishes to explore with a wide vision and a passion for development.
Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. This is the much we can take on today's episode. Should you miss our previous episode, you can follow us on our social media handle. I am Zainab Ubitin. See you next week.